Imagine you go to one of Belgium's most popular dive spots, and the spot decides, nope, I'm going to suck you, with immense force, into a gigantic turbine. And that's where the story begins, somewhere between pure panic and death. The Ode Lakes, 5 nicely arranged, very Instagrammable bodies of water, feel like nature's peaceful spa resort. Sailing here, wakeboarding there, and somewhere in the distance, a water-shy golden retriever yelps. But what started as a minor incident was destined to become the most notorious turbine disaster in history. Because beneath that mirror-smooth surface lies a technical monster from the 1970s, the plate tile dam, 790 meters of concrete, 4 reversible turbines, and a water eater with a huge appetite that, according to the operator, kicks in depending on the situation, which in plain terms means those things switch on whenever they feel like it. Like your Wi-Fi router, only deadlier. And guess what's missing? Exactly. Safety grates. Why? Because they fall apart every few months. The turbines vibrate faster than swipes on Tinder. Still, hundreds come here to dive every year. The operators have set up zones, Zone A, Zone B, each with a 150-meter safety radius. Plus a really friendly warning. Please don't go deeper than 20 meters, otherwise you won't just hear the turbines, they'll hear you. But on January 4th, 2024, shortly after 5 p.m., 2 men enter the scene who didn't take these rules as protection but as a suggestion. Christopher Godet and Frederick Pochet, both experienced, PADI certified, tech-savvy, and apparently in the mood for a Tinder-style adventure. They bring closed-circuit rebreathers, the high-end version of breathing underwater, silent, efficient, perfect for long dives, and they add underwater scooters. Could it be that these played a major role in the tragedy? Yet that very fact later left every outsider baffled. These men were pros. They knew what delta P, differential pressure, means. The kind of suction no living creature on Earth can outsmart. As the sun goes down, schools close, and the lake glitters peacefully like a 2000 Windows wallpaper, the two begin their descent, deeper than anyone with a healthy respect for hydraulics would ever go. But here it turns unsettling. From this moment on, a clock is ticking that they can't hear. The descent starts harmlessly. At 20 meters, it gets dark, silent, and according to protocol, this is where it should stop. But Christopher and Frederick keep going, like 2 people at the IKEA exit who deliberately take the staff-only corridor because it looks more interesting. 30 meters, 35 meters, 40 meters. At this point, even their fins should have chimed in. Hey boss, are we really doing this? In front of them, the intake opening of the plate tail turbines, a 4.5-meter wide concrete maw that, in that moment, looks completely still. The nasty thing about demons in dams is, they don't sleep. They just wait until someone stupid enough swims closer. And then it happens. A hum. Barely audible at first, then vibrating like the bass drop everyone at electro festivals has been waiting for. And that was the moment the turbine said, "Oh, visitors, hunger." 3 of the 4 pump turbines kick on. The output, a combined flow of 106 cubic meters of water per second. The suction hits the 2 of them without warning. And for everyone thinking, couldn't the scooters have? No, a scooter manages 2.8 meters per second. The turbines pull at 10 to 30 meters per second. That's like trying to get away from an ICE train on an e-scooter. From here on, physics takes over. Delta P, the pressure difference between a calm lake and a hungry turbine. Humans can do a lot. Cook, dive, swipe. But nobody beats a pressure monster that gulps down tons of water every second. Within seconds, the men are dragged from 50 meters depth down to 70 meters toward the turbine openings. But that was only the beginning. Later, it will be said maybe they were disoriented, maybe too curious, maybe too convinced by their own experience. But turbines have no respect for experience, only for greats. And those weren't there anymore. When Frederick doesn't answer his phone the next morning, what happens is what every Wallonia disaster protocol probably files under worst case but unfortunately realistic. His son drives to the lake himself. And there it is. The car. Unmoved. Cold. A silent warning sign for something nobody wants to say out loud. The authorities respond immediately. Belgian Civil Protection Teams, DVI units, 10 professional divers, sonar, boats, the full machine for a search in which everyone hopes they're wrong, yet knows how slim the chances are. On the very first day they find equipment, damaged rebreathers, smashed scooters, pieces of buoyancy vests. None of it can be conclusively linked to the two men. Dive centers sometimes lose gear. But some people can already sense just how badly this story is going to end. The local dive center manager, Benoit Michel, tells reporters that the turbines had been running that day. And suddenly, a suspicion turns into the most likely scenario. But Frederick's son still clings to the idea. They're strong swimmers. The problem is, even the fastest Olympic swimmer manages 2.36 meters per second. The turbines suck at up to 30 meters per second. That's not swimming. That's physics versus human. And physics always wins. Helicopters with thermal cameras circle over the area. Visibility in the water is terrible. Rain, current, murky sludge. The search teams work their way bit by bit through terrain that looks like open water but behaves like a mechanical labyrinth. 46.5 hours after the dive, hope runs out. Downstream, below the dam, human remains are found. A second discovery on the shore confirms the inevitable. A later autopsy makes it unmistakably clear. Both sets of remains belong to Christopher Godet and Frederick Pochet. To this day, the public wonders whether the men deliberately headed for the turbine or simply lost their bearings. Both explanations are possible. Both would have been avoidable, or whether their scuba scooters drowned out the turbines.